All right, so we got a couple of lines on the screen. So we have a primary plane line, which goes from the hosel of the club through the waist. And then we have a secondary, which is from the shoulder, and it just runs parallel roughly. The idea is for those to show us a little better path of the club and what's going on with it. So anyways, long story, we'll look at it from address, and we'll start talking a little bit about the shoulder bend and the hip bend. So these two numbers are the only two yellow numbers you have to address. Everything else is good, right? So we start talking about what is the bend, right? We have 23-degree forward hip bend. Basically, it tells me that you're overdoing posture a little bit. You're sticking your butt out too far. You're basically just arching your lower back. By arching your lower back, you're going to have back problems when you play golf. It's not anything else. It's not going to affect your golf swing that much. It will affect it in ways that do hurt, but not as bad as you would think. But look at Stewart real quick on the right. Do you see how he's kind of slightly rounded in his lower back the opposite way? Mm-hmm. That's a more relaxed position you're going to be able to hit better shots from. So it's not that we don't want your back straight. We want your back straight, but we want it relaxed, not arched. So that was just a real quick spill. When you get that back less arched, those bend numbers will change. Now, as we work the swing back, so we'll go halfway back over here, halfway back, club parallel to the ground roughly. And then we'll take the same one back here. So when we talked earlier about your turn to tilt ratio, right? So we said we wanted a 2-to-1 or close to it. And we said that you had 44 degrees of turn and 25 degrees of tilt, roughly. So we like the 44 degrees of turn in general. That's good. The tilt, the club's going up a little bit more than it has to, but we look at the club position now. You see where the club is inside the hands? Mm-hmm. Right? We need to have that club more on the hands. And that's more in the rotation of the forearms. You can see he has his right elbow bent in here and connected to the body. Yours look like they're kind of extending up away from the body, right? So we've got to figure out, okay, we need to keep the hands in more than out. We got to figure out how to get you to do that. Go ahead and go a little further up in the swing. Going to the top, we'll usually see that left arm get up to that secondary plane line. Go ahead and watch yours up. You get up to the secondary plane line, and then you just watch how your club keeps going and going and going. That's not rotation. We call that arm swing, but you can also start seeing the tilt. And we talked about the tilt earlier from the front view. Now we can actually see it. We're 52 and 21 in the tilts. When we look at Stewart, we get that shoulder tilt line, and we'll use his belt there for his hips. And you can see the difference between that and that. Yours is much more tilted forward, right? Now, the tendency from that position is to swing the arms out and around. Not necessarily that that's what's happening, that's just a tendency. And when I say out, meaning they'll go this way versus this way. So we'll go ahead and watch down a little bit and see what happens. And you control it a little bit better. Do you see how that club is a steep and across? Now watch this one. His gets in between the two lines, running about parallel with it. Your club head's still on the top line. That's what we call steep on the way down.
Am I standing too far away from the ball?
No. If anything, I'd say you're closer to the ball than him. But not really. I think you're about the same. And that all has to do with, arm length and height.